Welcome to the Awesomers.com podcast. If you love to learn, and if you're motivated to expand your mind, and heck, if you desire to break through those traditional paradigms and find your own version of success, you are in the right place. Awesomers around the world are on a journey to improve their lives and the lives of those around them. We believe in paying it forward, and we fundamentally try to live up to the great Zig Ziglar quote, where he said, "You can have everything in your life you want if you help enough other people get what they want." It doesn't matter where you came from, it only matters where you're going. My name is Steve Simonson, and I hope you will join me on this awesomer journey.
If you're launching a new product manufactured in China, you will need professional, high-resolution, Amazon-ready photographs. Because Simo Global has a team of professionals in China, you will oftentimes receive your listings photographs before your product even leaves the country. This streamlined process will save you the time, money, and energy needed to concentrate on marketing and other creative content strategies before your item is in stock and ready for sale. Visit simoglobal.com to learn more, because a picture should be worth 1,000 keywords.
Hey Amazon Marketplace professionals, this is Parsimony ERP, and we get one question over and over. Can you please tell me exactly what Parsimony does? Well, we'll try, but this is only a 30-second spot, so we're going to have to hurry. Connect to your Seller Central account and pull all the new orders. Enter the orders with all customer data. Enter all of the Amazon fees and charges. Store them at the item level. Generate profit and loss reports at the SKU level. Automatically generate income statements. Handle multiple companies. Handle multiple brands. Handle multiple currencies. Facilitate budgets and forecasts. Store all customer interactions in a sophisticated CRM system. Manage your supply chain. Project and task management. Maintain an audit log. Hey, you get it. That's Parsimony, PARSIMONY.com. Parsimony.com. We've got that.
Hey everybody, Steve Simonson coming to you again with another episode of the Awesomers.com podcast series. And today is episode number 114 in our series, which is stretching farther and farther into those numbers. All you need to do to find today's show notes and details is go to awesomers.com/114, and you can find any of those relevant details, maybe even a transcript. And today's going to be a quick episode because today we're airing this episode in the United States on Thanksgiving Day, which is a holiday. And as much as I might imagine people wanting to listen to the sultry, dulcet tones of my voice on Thanksgiving Day, they're probably doing other things, eating turkey, watching parades, maybe some football, and very American traditions, mostly the eating part, of course. So, but I'm not going to get into the holiday aspect of it so much. And if you're interested in that, you can go, I don't know, Wikipedia or whatever. But I want to talk about Thanksgiving and how that applies to your business. So it's less the amount of turkey that you serve in your business and more about the amount of recognition. So giving thanks is when you say to somebody, hey, thanks, I appreciate you. You've done a nice job here. And just that little bit of recognition is something that is too often overlooked as we consider our businesses and the operation of our businesses. And what I mean by that is often, especially if you're the primary leader of your business, or even if you're just above, any number of people, 1 person, 3 people, 10 people, hundreds of people, doesn't matter. We get caught up in the day-to-day grind so much that we're always looking for the next fire. When somebody puts on a fire, we don't have time, or at least we feel we don't have time to go recognize them and say, hey, nice job putting out that fire. Nice job taking care of that situation. We just kind of want to move on to the next fire because we're full-time firefighters mentally so often. Not in every case, but very, very often. And my advocacy today is on behalf of those who deserve the giving thanks to. And, even though I've learned this lesson multiple times, I still have to remind myself that when people don't have that recognition, when they don't get a sense of recognition from whoever the leader is, the boss, however you like to refer to that position, and by the way, there's all these memes out on the internet. A boss is somebody who tells you what to do. A leader is somebody who lets you be a free-range chicken. Whatever your definition is fine with me. I don't personally get into the vocabulary battle of somebody saying they're the boss or somebody saying they're the leader. It's up to you to define it. It's up to your people to understand it. And really, that is a organic and custom situation in every business. I do prefer to think of the leader as being responsible for all the people, not just their well-being, but the well-being kind of their families. I call that my economy, right? My family circle. So if my economy is not healthy, that is not good for my people. That's not good for their families. That causes them stress. Stress is not high on the list for productivity helpers. And so you can expect that those things will go down. Yet, one of the best stress relievers, one of the best ways to help encourage your people and keep them marching forward is to recognize them. And if we fail as leaders to recognize our people, we're missing not just a golden opportunity, but an opportunity that deserves our time and attention, probably more than the next fire. I'll give you a quick story and just discuss this very quickly with you. In the old days, I had some installers. They were contractors, and they would go out and they would install things in people's homes. We had a construction related business. And so they would go out to somebody's home and they would install countertops, or they would install, shower, bathroom. They would install carpets, or, kitchen flooring, hardwood flooring, whatever it was, all kinds of different construction types of things. And customers would come into the land-based showroom we had at the time. They would make a selection on products, meet with designers, design the whole project, and then we would rely on these contractors to go out and execute the installation. And we had, good relationships with these folks. They would come in each day and we would hand out the work, and they would kind of trust us to have the work lined up in an efficient manner and load them out. And, we had a symbiotic relationship. We needed them, they needed us. But what happened is I got a letter one time from a customer, and they wrote a handwritten letter, and it said, hey, Paul did a really great job on my countertops, and I just want to let you know I really appreciated his professionalism and his diligence, and the job was cleaned up well, and it just was a wonderful experience. Thank you so much. This is kind of before people were thinking Amazon 5 stars. So that was a compliment. And I'm like, well, Paul's not here right now. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to tape this to the door of my office so that anybody who walks into that office doorway will have the taped message right there that they can read. And ultimately, Paul's going to walk in that door. He can read the message. This is my big effort at recognition. And you can see I certainly wasn't taking it super seriously at that moment. Maybe what would have been a better idea was to get the contractors around in the morning, give them coffee and donuts, and then read the letter to them, and then give Paul a shout out and recognize him in public. That would have probably even been more strategic and smarter. But as always, I'm not that smart. I don't know nothing about nothing. And I continue to learn these lessons today in different ways. So anyway, after that letter was stuck on my door, sure enough, it was not, I don't think a day went by, and another contractor came in and he's like, hey, where's the letter about me? And, I said to him, hey, if a customer sends me a letter about you, I'll put it on the door. What do I got nothing, no axe to grind here. I'm not playing favorites. The customer wrote a letter. I stuck it on the wall. Again, my brain not even doing the math on, they wanted to be recognized for what they were doing too. I just kind of, shot it back to him and said, you want a letter? Get a letter. What do you want from me? I'd hang what I get. So it was not probably a week that had transpired, and sure enough, I got another letter, and another letter. This time, hey, Chris, you did a really great job. Made my house look like new. I just can't believe I'm living in this dream home now, and yesterday it was not so much a dream home. So we're transforming people's lives. We're helping them. Really, go from A to B. And that's ultimately what you want any business, product, or service to do, is to help a customer, go from point A to point B, where they feel that level of transformation. That is a true and legitimate advantage. So I got that letter, and I'm like, hey, cool. Good job, Chris. I put that on the door. And then sure enough, the next guy, Henry's like, hey, why is, these two guys, Paul and Chris, getting called out, and where's my letter? And by this time I'm double down. I'm like, well, they got a letter. They got a letter probably because they asked the customer to write them a letter. They did a nice job. They wanted a shout out. They wrote the letter. And I tell you, within a month, my door was covered with letters from customers because these guys were all doing good work. They were all putting it out there, but even though they're professionals, even though they shouldn't quote need recognition, and this is where the mind of a weak CEO or a weak leader goes, why do I have to praise them all the time? Why are they so needy? And this is the wrong instinct for our brains to have. All of these professionals, they liked recognition, and they appreciated the fact that they were being called out in public, and they even appreciated that I hung the letter on the door, because not only could they see it, all of their peers could see it, all of the other employees at the operation could see it, right? In sales, design, whatever. So that builds confidence among the colleagues and the teammates. So as a designer sees, oh, well, Henry got a great letter about this wonderful shower, they can talk about that with their next customer. Go, it wasn't, a month ago, but Henry just got a letter, a customer praising this beautiful custom shower installation. And it was very complex and very time consuming, but Henry knocked it out of the park. And as a matter of fact, here's the letter on the boss's door, or the CEO's door back here. And they, would take them back, and the customers then would see just all of the letters, top to bottom of the door. The door was totally covered. So much so that after a few months, we had already passed the door and we were onto the wall outside my door, and we just kept going. And the moral of the story is just that one simple letter by a customer who did it unprompted changed the culture inside that organization. We became an organization of recognition. We became an organization of, people going out of their way to not just do a good job, but then ask the customer, hey, it really makes a difference if you send in a letter saying, I did a nice job. This helps them. They go home and they talk about it at home. I got a letter from a customer. It's on, the CEO's door, and now the designers see it. Everybody else sees it. All my peers and friends and colleagues see it, and they feel good about it. And that I could tell you that had more to do with a cultural shift in that organization than anything else, than raising people's pay, than any other kind of tangible thing. Too often we think that if we're going to do something, we have to just raise their pay, or if we recognize them, that they're like, oh, I did a nice job, give me more money, right? That there's not necessarily a quid pro quo relationship. Over time, if people do great work, you're going to want to reward them and not lose them. But recognition is probably the finest currency that you can spend. So we did develop this and went into other concepts like, the team member of the month or employee of the month. I'm not sure what we called it at the time. And not only would we make, kind of a big deal out of it and try to announce that in front of all the colleagues in meetings, but we would make a certificate and we'd, put it in a little frame. And no doubt that people were taking those certificates home and they were hanging them on the wall and they were showing them off to their kids. And the point is, they're doing hard work, they're doing good work, and just taking a moment to recognize. Now, you can't recognize every action of every day. If I go out to the guy who's loading the trucks, I'm like, oh boy, you really put that pallet in there with zest that time. And oh, here comes another one. I'm so excited, right? That it's impractical to praise every single thing. And it also dilutes the value of the recognition. But having a really good systemic view of how do you recognize, how do you reach out to, not just the people on your direct team that may be employed by you, but your contractors as well. And how do you recognize them in a public way that makes them feel good? All of this is a really important message for Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys enjoyed this message. This is definitely a lesson that sticks with me, yet I keep learning new wrinkles. And sometimes I forget, especially when people have been with me a long time. It's kind of like when you've been in a relationship a long time. You're like, God, they know they're great. They know that I really respect and appreciate them. But honestly, all of us need to hear that recognition. Everybody likes to be recognized and get a little love. And in today's modern world, the review system is very good at that. On LinkedIn, anytime somebody asks me for a review who's worked for me, I give them a review. I've never yet asked for a review. And I think I've received like 3 reviews from people or recommendations, LinkedIn calls them, but I've delivered like 43 because that's how many people have asked me. if I was really a good guy, I would go proactively and think of the people who I've worked with and recognize them on LinkedIn or some other public forum. And I would challenge you guys to go recognize somebody today. Even if it's your kids, hey, you put those dishes away in the dishwasher without having to be asked. They will appreciate. They will like it. Maybe it's your spouse. Hey, you know what? You took out the garbage the other day, and man, that garbage was starting to smell, and I really appreciated you putting in that effort. Whatever it is, it should be authentic. It should be genuine, and it shouldn't feel like you're pulling teeth to make it happen. To be honest, but it might initially. It might feel out of character. You may actually be a little bit shy about it. And you're like, I'm nervous about, making a big deal out of this, and I would just tell you, take the risk. Just do it. Giving thanks really does work. Recognizing people really can work. And it can be a cultural impact to your business in a long-term way, in ways that you really have no idea the positive impact it could have. So anyway, again, this has been episode 114. This is a good time for you, by the way, to go give thanks and leave a review. If you haven't already, please subscribe, because those subscriber numbers are things we're watching every single day. And frankly, we're not getting enough subscriptions. So let's get some more of those, and don't forget to spread the word. So again, this has been episode 114. All you need to do, again, as a tradition has become very clear, I hope, go to awesomers.com/114, and you can find all of today's show notes and details. Thanks, everybody.
Catalyst 88 was developed to help entrepreneurs achieve their short and long-term goals in e-commerce markets by utilizing the power of shared entrepreneurial wisdom. Entrepreneurship is nothing if not lessons to be learned. Learn from others. Learn from us. I guarantee that we will learn from you. Visit catalyst88.com, because your success is our success. And giddy up. Empower. The name says it all. Connecting e-commerce entrepreneurs with great people, ideas, systems, and the services needed to stay business dynamic and to grow. Empowery is a network, a cooperative venture of tools and resources to make you better at what you do, because we love what you do. We are you. Visit empowery.com to learn more.
Well, we've done it again, everybody. We have another episode of the Awesomers podcast ready for the world. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you've enjoyed our program today. Now's a good time to take a moment to subscribe, like, and share this podcast. Heck, you could even leave a review if you wanted. Awesomers around you will appreciate your help. It's only with your participation and sharing that we'll be able to achieve our goals. Our success is literally in your hands. Thank you again for joining us. We are at your service. Find out more about me, Steve Simonson, our guests, team, and all the other Awesomers involved at awesomers.com. Thank you again.